Are you worn out by the pressure to be useful? Always working to prove your worth through productivity? I saw this post on Threads a few days ago. It said, creative people are always working, even at a subconscious level. Reading books, watching movies and TV, and playing video games are not wastes of time for artists. It's how we stay inspired and refill our coffer of ideas. Now, on one level, this is a great reminder of how every aspect of life can feed our creative spirit. Nothing is left out when it comes to the human ability to turn anything into creative expression. It also hints that creativity is more than an activity. It's a way of being. But the wording caught my attention. That first line echoes something Byung-Chul Han describes in the Burnout Society. Yeah, sorry, I'm mentioning it again. When he talks about this move from disciplined society to the exhausting pressure of achievement society, where in this world there is no external boss. Instead, the internal command drives us to work, to move forward, to stay inspired and informed. We strive to remain relevant and keep the coffers full, always working for the sake of the content. Of course, we don't get much context in a social media post. I don't imagine that the author necessarily intended this reading. Yet I think the deeper issue is not what was meant, but the cultural story that this kind of phrasing, this framing reinforces. Do we picture creativity as a mechanical process of input and output where every activity must justify itself for fuel for future results? Or do we imagine creativity as a playful unfolding, an ecosystem where ideas can germinate beneath the surface and emerge in mysterious and unexpected ways? We notice them, catch them, squidging and bouncing them around, not to keep the coffer stocked, but to live differently from the instrumentalized model of human as productive machine. The fear of wasting time underpins so much of contemporary culture. To do something that looks inefficient or lacking purpose feels like some kind of cardinal sin. But what is a waste of time? That judgment only makes sense against a backdrop where time must be used well. And for this, there must be a central vision to serve more or less effectively. Yet through history, people have carved out spaces where time is allowed to spill and wander. Rituals, festivals, feasts, idle gatherings don't serve a purpose in the way productivity culture demands. They are excess, they are celebration, lingering for its own sake. And in those moments, life isn't measured by what it produces, but by what it holds in terms of presence, connection, play, and the fleeting beauty of things that don't last. The achievement society imposes a vision. It drives us to hustle harder, to always work to get ahead of the competition. It encourages us to instrumentalize the activities that bring joy. These activities are reframed as sources of input rather than ends in themselves. Even that idea that reading books, watching movies and TVs and playing video games are not wastes of time for artists is an interesting framing. What about for everybody else? This is part of Han's recipe for burnout. We not only struggle to eke out a living, but also feel compelled to justify pastimes and hobbies as somehow productive in the eyes of this insidious law. Why do we need the coffer of ideas to be full? What is the purpose of art and creativity in this kind of society? I like the idea of the kind of creative life that spills over. It wastes time beautifully. It reminds us that the richest things that we do are often the least efficient. We talk about searching for the meaning of life as if it hides in some grand idea. But perhaps it lingers in the waste that we have right here in our hands right now. The kind of waste that maybe we're overlooking and underappreciating.